I wish you
Oh,
did,
hold
Lobot.
on,
I want to know more about that. Freak.
Yeah, he became.
God damn it! I googled it.
No, he was like a personal chef for Lando, right?
He was a
Lobot
personal
was?
chef for Lobot. Yeah, Lobot
Yeah.
was.
Oh.
The thing that he had was like to have him make
Full of
battlefields. It was just a Rolodex of chicken curry recipes and shit like that.
Dave, you need to go do a Halloween as Lobot.
I could.
For sure.
One of these days.
For sure.
See, I just put these backwards and I just wear it like this.
Exactly. Perfect.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Welcome. And welcome to episode 127 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. My name is Brandon. I am your host. And we have come a long distance to get here. We are in Star Wars universe, and it feels so good to be here. It's been a while since we talked some Star Wars, so. But I'm not alone. I brought a smuggler with me, Eric.
I'm Sidon Ithano. I don't die so easily. I fucked up my quote. Hold on, let me get a clean take. I'm Sidon Ithano. I don't die so easily. There we go.
Oh man,
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
That's a little
either.
teaser for you.
Oh, okay. And then we have a Jedi Master over here as well. What's going on, David?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not like here at the Nomads of Fantasy, where everything is soft and smooth.
Ooh, baby.
Hey.
I like that. Yes.
Sexy Anakin.
We are talking about Star Wars, but specifically, and I promise you this is going to be a good time, we are getting into some obscure characters in the Star Wars lore. And this is so on brand with us because what we like to do is look at fictional work across movies, video games, TV shows, whatever. Go out there and see what people came up with and come back and talk about it. Mostly the good. We'll critique it a little bit here and there, but yeah. we just love the music and stuff like that. But man, when it comes to Star Wars, we know so much about it. But there are some characters in the background. So that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to be digging into that. And again, I think it's going to be a good time. We even put it out on our social to ask if anybody else had maybe a couple that they find are their favorites. Eric, do we have anything that was submitted?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we sure do. Over on @Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter, we asked a couple questions. I asked, who's your favorite lesser-known weirdo from the Star Wars universe? Got a couple responses. Let's see here. Talking SMAC Pod said, the King, Dexter Jester. You guys remember Dexter Jester? The restaurant owner from Attack of the Clones.
Guy?
Yeah, the diner.
Yes.
The diner guy. Yep, Obi-Wan's friend.
Guy.
Yep, Obi-Wan's buddy over there. Our good buddy Jake Iveson says, I feel like the animated shows had some awesome characters that get explored. Seeing additional Plo Koon content, for example, made a great character out of someone who only really looked cool in the movies. Hondo is one of my favorite lesser-known characters.
Okay, yeah. Hondo is great in Rebels.
Yep, he's great in Rebels and Clone Wars. Just he's like a pirate with a heart of gold. He'll stab you in the back, but he'll also help you out if you need it. So he flip flops both ways. He's a cool character. And the podcast nobody asked for says Ben Quadraneros solely because he looks like the people from the Starlight music video. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but he was the pod racer from Phantom Menace. The dude where he goes to start and his pod just fucking goes up in the air and explodes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of skinny little arms.
Yep, that's
Apparently,
the guy.
He came up in my research. He ends up having a second appearance. I think it's in Revenge of the Sith, I believe. In the background, you can see a pod racing banner, and it is Ben Quadros versus Sebulba. So eventually, he must rise through the ranks of podcasting and become an intergalactic podcast or podcast
Intergalactic
pod
podcaster.
race
He's a podcaster
superstar.
now. A Star Wars podcast show in Star like that. They need a podcast.
That's actually
in
pretty
Star
cool.
Wars.
I'm glad
the
they
universe.
brought that back. Some
The
extra
more-
lore if you look for it in the background.
The more you dig into this, the more you find out that there are a lot of tangled webs that have been connected, and also they give everything a backstory these days.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Oh, and
That's great.
they also said, and just for the name, I'm gonna try this one. Paudok draba takat sap directi nik linke t kivefnik nif ziffer lik kek. AKA
yeah, I know
AKA
him.
Pow. You probably do know this little guy. He is from Rogue One. You see him on the beaches at the Battle of Scarif.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the only non-human taking place,
the little guy,
taking part in the
little
Battle of
furry
Scarif.
guy.
Yep,
Or, not
Oh,
furry.
it's like a
he's little
lizard.
alien.
he's like yeah,
Dude.
little, yep,
Yeah.
little reptile
He's got a
looking
big
dude.
ass mouth though, and he looks scary as shit. He looks pretty cool.
Yep. We got a couple
Makes me wanna
more.
go see Rogue One.
Rogue One's good. It's better than you remember. We got a couple.
It's on the calendar. We'll be getting to that soon.
That's true. We got a couple comments over on our Discord as well, the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. Our good buddy Mike from Games My Mom Found says, when I was a kid, I thought Bosk looked so cool and wanted to know more of his story. Thankfully, at this point, gotten plenty, but to this day, whenever I play a Star Wars game and see this race, the Trandoshans, I call them all Bosk. Yep.
Trandoshans are nasty. Them and the Wookiees have like a
feud,
race
like a
war
blood
going
feud.
on.
Yeah. Yep.
Not happy with each other.
No. He just said, I've always been a big fan of the background droids. He said Gonk, the little driving ones that run away from everyone on the Death Star, but those are the little mouse droids. You know those little guys?
Mm-hmm.
The Gonks
we'll
are like
get
the
into
walking
this. We'll
trash
get into
cans. Yep. Medical droids all in
Gonk.
between. Always curious what their jobs are. Yeah, there's tons of good droids. Driving Devance has always liked the Jawas. I've had their cry Utini bouncing around in my head for 30 years. And of course, Salacious B. Crumb is also a classic. Jabba's little fucking
bastard.
monkey rat.
Yes.
Lots
Great
of good,
name. It's a
lots of
great
good
name.
answers.
That one came up
the
with when
community.
we were figuring out what to do for this episode, because we found out that the B in Salacious B. Crumb stands for Bob, which
It's been
blows my mind.
disputed. That's not like,
he was named after Robert Crumb, so
Yeah.
Salacious B. Crumb has got to be Bob Crumb. There's no doubt about it. Bob.
The B is it's a mystery. Bob. We'll say Bob. I do like Bob though. Salacious Bob Crumb. But
Is that
yep,
it for
that's all we
socials?
got. That's all we got for the
All
for
right.
the socials. Thank you everybody for writing in. Those are some good choices.
That's great. Okay, Dave, real quick, what do we have up for the next couple
Over
episodes?
on the calendar. We're watching Looper next after this.
That's right.
Getting into the year of Bruce, chugging along with that. And then after that, we are getting end of March, and we'll do our March catch up and see what we've been playing. We're expecting Eric to be out for a little bit in April, so we're kind of juggling the calendar around. But
I'm having a
maybe some
baby. Well, I'm not having a
some
baby.
Lord of the Rings.
My
Yeah,
wife is
you
having
are.
a baby.
Congratulations,
Eric is
Junior.
physically having a baby.
I'm having a
Junior.
baby.
No, congratulations. That's right. Eric's having his second child, so it might throw off the calendar. We were talking about maybe sneaking in some Lord of the Rings for Dave and I to geek out while Eric
Right.
is doing some
Mhm.
dad stuff.
Get some
but-
illustrious guests on to fill
yeah.
my spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll
that'd be
say.
great.
Yep. And then we're going to get hitting up Rogue One again for May the 4th, which is going to be interesting because I think Brandon, you and me weren't too hot on that one, and then Eric
It didn't
rewatched it and
blow
said it
me
was
away.
good. And
Yeah,
I,
Just like
I
the
remember
last
not
20
liking
minutes,
it
but-
much, but
Out of the theaters,
haven't
I
seen
didn't
it
like
since it
it.
came out.
I watched it when Andor was hot, and then on
And
my
you liked-
rewatch, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great. I don't want to not like anything of Star Wars, so I want to like that movie. I'm not like I dislike it. I just wasn't hot on it. Like,
Right.
like this is the best thing Disney's done with Star Wars, and I'm like, kind of fucking boring, but okay.
Yeah.
So, happened with Solo. I remember you
Same
rewatched
thing happened.
that,
Yeah, same thing happened to
you know.
Solo with me. Loved it on my
So-
rewatch.
So, yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So, if that's good with the calendar, I think we can hit into the hyperdrive and get the fuck out of here and get into Act 2 when we come back.
Right after this.
Attack of the Nomads. All right.
Oh, nice.
We're back. And we are going to get into some geeky ass shit. So if you like Star Wars, please, and if you don't like Star Wars, still think you're going to have a good time.
Stick around. Hang out.
It's funny because I don't remember. I don't think this was recorded at all. I think this was it was a podcast night. We were recording, and we just started talking about. Oh my god!
Sayo is the name of the space worm.
It was a
Yes.
Discord conversation. I forget how
Yeah.
it came up though, but we were just talking about it in Discord.
Oh my god! It just was like this aha moment where we're like, "Oh my god, this would be fucking so fun."
Yeah,
to
because
do
there's an entire
episode
backstory on this fucking
'cause it's
space slug.
ridiculous.
There's
So
lore
yeah,
for
that's
everything.
what we're talking about. There's this random ass alien worm-like thing in this second Star Wars movie, Episode 6. It's called Empire Strikes Back. You may have heard of it. And I don't know, like third way into the movie, Han Solo and crew are trying to run away from the Empire, and they go into a minefield or whatever. And not a minefield, but
Asteroid
like outer
field?
space or like asteroid field. Thank you. And Han Solo gets an idea like, I'll just hide from them in like one of these craters. It's actually a cave, and they go inside this meteor, whatever, and they're hanging out in there. Well, lo and behold, after they shoot at some Mylox, like little aliens or
Minox.
whatever, Minox, thank you.
Yep.
Han Solo's like, wait a minute. This place shakes when you shoot it. So he shoots it again. It's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And they do. They leave this cave, and they realize that it's closing in on them, but you see its teeth. Well, it turns out it's a giant ass space worm alien thing living in this
He has a name.
asteroid.
His name is Sayo.
And he has a name. He has
They what are they?
What did we
Exogarths or whatever?
Sayo is an exogorth who
Exogorth,
are
yeah.
patient and relatively peaceful species that pride themselves on the ability to have their bodies become a stable ecosystem, home to countless species that peacefully coexist. And the cooler your inner ecosystem is, like the more, I guess, standing you have in the exogorth culture, Sayo was just a lower life form because he only had non-sentient things living inside of him.
Oh,
But
that's actually pretty cool.
he
like
was
the Minox. They're just like kind of
pretty much. He's over
You're
a billion years old.
You're telling
And
me
he
some of
lived
the
on the
higher
asteroid
ranked
called the big one.
You're telling me some of the higher ranked exogorths have like cities and shit built inside of them?
I guess
With
they
sentient
say
life forms?
sentient life forms. So maybe things choose to live inside of the worm. I don't know, but apparently
right?
they're
Like, dude, where you at, dude? After college, man, I fucking moved into this thing here, man. It's great. Yeah.
Well,
it's
if they're
great.
so
What a
big,
great,
like,
ecosystem.
right?
it
You might
has.
not even know you spend your whole life inside this fucking thing. You don't know anything besides that. Like it's so huge. Like I don't know. I love that shit. It's so dumb, but it's fun.
But the one in the movie, specifically, his name is what?
Sayo. SY-O.
And he's just like a bachelor, just like a youngin, just kind of out there, just not
trying to
really
find
worrying
himself.
about having a really good.
He's just hanging out on. They call the asteroid is called the Big One, apparently. But
That's
no,
his
he was
house.
trying to make them part of his internal ecosystem to meet the social standards of his kind. That's what he was trying to do. He was just trying. He wasn't trying to be a dick. He was.
Then
just
Han had to
trying
go and fucking blast the inside of his mouth.
Yeah, like you're fucking up my
okay.
ecosystem, bro.
Everything's okay. They're leaving. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I got a question though. So these aliens these giant worm-like creatures, they go out into outer space. Somehow they have the ability to push themselves off of a planet. I don't know how they have that trajectory. I mean, we have to use rockets to get humans in outer space. So, But
They're
somehow
so
they're springing
huge.
themselves
All
off
you need
of
is
a
a
planet.
little momentum. Yeah.
But they finally fling themselves out into outer space and somehow know where something is in outer space to go and live in it. So they do really good math and physics. They shoot themselves out there and they find like a comet or not a
He's
comet.
just strolling
but like
around an
asteroid
asteroid
or
field.
whatever,
Yeah.
or moon or whatever.
Looking for a good rock to live in.
He can maybe do that. He's big and strong, and they can. But how do the other how do the Minox and how do the other little dumbass creatures find him?
Well,
Like, how do they get there?
we don't know how old it. He says
It's outer
Dave said
space.
he's a
It's a
billion
billion.
years old. So this ecosystem could have evolved and developed within him
Over
over that
millions and millions
that
of
span of
years
time.
going
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like one like an island in an ocean where it starts to crest and it's like
Right.
it's like a volcano trying to grow, but eventually some fucking bird's gonna drop like a seed on it, and eventually like a bug's gonna land on it, and eventually like an ecosystem grows
Yeah.
on that little island and becomes
It's like
looks
primordial
its own thing
ooze with inside of
There
it,
you go.
and things crawled out of
across
it.
a billion years. Okay,
Yeah.
it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, Star Wars don't think about it. It's more sci-fantasy than sci-fi, but
I love that
It's
type of
just
shit though. Like there's an
crazy that
there's an
somebody-
explanation for everything in the Star Wars universe. Like
Right.
they have to write this lore for it to all
And it
coincide
had
and
to
make
be, like,
sense.
proofed. They had to like, like I got a couple ideas, but this is the one I'm thinking. And George was like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, we'll keep that. That's, like it had to be approved and put into a book
Right.
at some point.
There's more Exogorth in the comics too. Apparently, there's some rebel fighter was trying to escape, and he flew in there, and somebody tried to. They didn't try to. It looks from the picture, it looks like they pretty much did. Flew a Star Destroyer like through its mouth and out the back of its face. So,
Oh, poor guy.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
You know, it was
Especially
kinda
knowing
fucked
they're
up, but
like, peaceful creatures. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're just chilling in their asteroids.
just another glup shitto in our which I didn't even that's a new thing to me. The glup
The glup shitto thing. Yeah.
thing. We're
All
kind
right.
of like making fun of how everybody has a name and everybody has a thing. That's interesting.
Well, even when Baby Yoda was gonna get like his name reveal or whatever, everyone was like,
That's
"Yeah, his name. I hope his name
That's
is
where it
fucking
came from.
Glup Shitto." Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
I remember that.
Hmm.
So I think it's time that we get into the meat of this episode, because when we discovered that, we thought that was ridiculous. Like that means
It
other
is.
creatures have to have, and lo and behold, they do. So the three of us went off into our own corners of the universe and started picking characters from Star Wars. Most, I think, pretty much from the movies, because that's where the general public of Star Wars fans live.
More or less.
But they might have made appearances in comics and video games and TV shows and cartoons and whatever. But this is the fun of Star Wars, is the characters. So, yeah, we all have characters that we've picked, but we don't really know who we picked. Which
The
is pretty fun.
surprise.
So I want to kick things off. I'm going to go with Eric. One that we don't know, but like, who do you have? And like, give us a rundown. Let's start this off with your first obscure Star Wars character.
All right. Yeah, I'll go with the guy that I had my quote from. His name is Sidon Ithano. Hold on, let me get the image of him. Yeah, if you guys want to Google him to see what he looks like.
this guy.
He is
yes.
the dude from. So the first appearance was from Force Awakens. He's the dude with like the red armor, the red helmet. He's hanging out.
Oh yeah,
He's hanging out
sweet
in.
looking.
Yeah, he's hanging out in Maz Kanata's castle. So, yeah, I was looking at options for obscure Star Wars characters, and he kind of came up on the list solely because he looks so badass and cool. Hold on, I'm adjusting the video so that people can see what he looks like.
Not quite Boba Fett, but still kind of like cool Boba
Yeah.
Fett. Like, damn, that guy just looks cool. Like a
Yeah, he's got
cool-ass
cool armor, cool helmet, and
They're cool nicknames.
yeah, so he came from so I don't know if you guys remember this, but leading up to The Force Awakens, obviously The Force Awakens was like a huge deal when it came out because it was like the first Star Wars movie in how many ever years. But they were
without George Lucas.
right without George Lucas. Disney had taken over all this shit. But they released a series of 19 books and comics that feature content related to The Force Awakens. And they're all the Journey to the Force Awakens books, and they're all about different characters in that are featured in the movie, and they give a little bit of backstory on them. So this was one of those. This was one of those characters, and the book was called "The Crimson Corsair and the Lost Treasure of Count Dooku."
Oh shit, that's cool.
So yeah,
Badass name.
Sidon Ithano goes by many names: the Crimson Corsair, the Blood Buccaneer, the Red Raider, Silent Scourge of the Lost Clusters, and the Scourer of Adratharp 7. So he's well known across the galaxy, and the mid rim specifically. So he's a Delphidian, which is a humanoid sentient species from the Delphindian cluster, which is on the fringes of wild space. So he's kind of like way out there in the outer rim. But he gained himself a reputation as a pretty ruthless pirate. He's not actually ruthless. He's actually kind of like an upstanding guy. He lets his reputation do the talking for him. If he can avoid violence, he will. But yeah, the whole he he gained his reputation through this whole treasure hunt for the aforementioned Count Dooku's lost treasure.
Yeah.
So one day him and his crew received a transmission that dated back to the Clone Wars. Basically just saying that there was a ship, and it was, it crash landed during the Clone Wars, and it had a treasure. It was Count Dooku's ship, and
a video game.
Apparently there was a treasure on it. So obviously being
Uncharted Star Wars game, looking for Dooku's fucking treasure, please.
Dude, that would be so
just like
cool.
an adventure game.
I mean, they've had these concepts of, these bounty hunter games, like the what was it, 1313 that got canceled, and then they just had the Respawn first person Mandalorian game that just got canned too by EA.
Apparently that was awesome
and then
too.
they cancel it.
Sounded like it was going to be amazing, but yeah, being a pirate in the Star Wars universe, having your own crew and everything, going out on these missions to collect treasure and find them, that would be awesome. But that's basically what these guys were doing. They got this transmission, they heard about this treasure, so naturally, being the pirates they are, him and his crew go to investigate. And they land on this planet they were hanging out on this planet called Ponma, I think that's how you say it. Which is kind of like another desert planet. So they wander into the desert, and they find this like sand skiff that they're riding along. And so they actually, the treasure was supposed to be a cache of kyber crystals, which, I mean,
sweet.
During that time, after the Republic had fallen, the Empire had taken full control. These kyber crystals were rare, and they selling for a lot on the black market. So they thought this was the treasure, but when they got there, they actually found it was a frozen in cryostasis, a frozen clone trooper from the Clone Wars era. His name was Kix, but Count Dooku had him frozen because he knew about the Sith plot to destroy the Jedi. So because he knew that, they had him frozen in stasis. I don't know what they were planning to do with him. That they never really.
He's a clone trooper that just knew about it before it happened.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be.
Frozen?
He was supposed to be reprogrammed. With the chips in their head, but I'm like, he was in. So his name is Kix. He was part of the 501st Legion. Which
is Kix ever in any of the movies or
he's in? The Clone Wars, the animated series.
Animated show. Okay.
So yeah, I remember him from the Clone Wars. And I believe he had his chip extracted, so he wasn't like under the control of
Right.
you know, of
Palpatine's
of the
Order
Republic.
66,
So
yeah.
he found out about this plot, and then Dooku found out that he knew about it, so he had him frozen. So they stumbled upon him, they found him, they unfroze him, and basically Kix decided to join Ithano's crew as their guide because he was an expert at Clone Wars era military
That's so
technology,
cool.
and he knew about all these like old like separatist and republic bases, like defunct
Right.
bases. So like,
Dude, this would make an awesome video game
yeah, dude,
It'd be an awesome show.
it's so cool.
or
Yeah,
show.
Like,
And it's just one fucking character
Building
that's
up your
literally in the
crew.
background in one scene in a movie.
Yep.
All this.
you just fall down the rabbit hole, like the Wookieepedia hole, like I've been calling it, because
Yeah, and
Wikipedia is just a great resource for all this stuff.
it's cool because they wrote an entire, it's not even it's like a short story. It's like 40 pages long, but they knew they had this character that was going to be in the Force Awakens, the new movie. So I mean, this was a great marketing strategy to get people excited about the new movie and the characters that would be in this movie. So if you read this book and then saw this character in that in Maz Kanata's castle in the scene where they're talking to Finn, you know, they would be
Would
like,
you be
"Oh
annoyed
shit!"
though? But would you be annoyed? Be like, that's it?
Right. It was very short
You know,
in the
a
movie
scene?
because in the movie, if you remember,
like, fight.
Finn's talking to them and he wants to join their crew to get safe passage away from the First
Yeah.
Order because he's on
And
the
he's
run.
just sitting at a table with them, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they're going to board the ship, and then you know the shit
Yeah.
goes down. But yeah, it's just that one scene, but they created this entire story, you know, kind of backing up his character. So
Okay.
you know, you're more in the know if you read the story. You'd be like, oh shit, that's Sidon Ithano. I know his backstory. I know he's like one of the most renowned pirates in the galaxy. So I don't know. It's
Makes
just
me
cool
wanna
that
see
they.
Force Awakens though.
Yeah,
Like
well,
now, just to see that
apparently,
scene.
apparently he participated in the Battle of Exegol.
I was gonna say that too.
With the Resistance to kill Palpatine's
Attaboy.
fleet.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I'm just going down the Wikipedia page, and it's just
So like he wasn't
thing after thing after thing.
he wasn't an evil pirate or anything. Like you said, I'm pretty sure actually when they you know when the First Order blew up all those planets with Starkiller base in the Force Awakens, they blew up all those systems. I'm pretty sure one of those systems was Sidon's system that he was from. So I think at that point was the turning point where he's like, I'm gonna join in the Resistance and help fight the First Order. So
It's freaking insane.
Attaboy.
but yeah, that's Sidon Ithano for you. Cool looking guy,
Start.
cool looking character,
Cool story.
with a cool story. Yep.
Just begging for a movie or video game or TV show or whatever. All right, cool. Dave,
Star Wars. I mean, I was gonna
what do
say
you got
Star
over
Wars.
there?
Star Wars sets itself up for these two because like it's got so many of these random scenes in like every single movie where it's just got like the first one you got like the cantina scene and they hit up like all like
Right.
it's just a treasure trove of dudes.
Right.
And you have like the pod races, then you have Canto Bight Casino, which there's just tons of people in the background all over the place. Maz Kanata's castle, where you know this guy came from.
Right.
I dug into one of the originals and I found Omi the Dianoga, more commonly known as the monster in the trash compactor.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh,
The eyeball that pops up and looks around then pulls Luke under.
I actually had him on my list of, you know, I briefly looked into the history of him and like his whole race and everything.
He's like a stowaway, right? He wasn't really like he's not living there. He was like a stowaway.
Brandon. Yeah. He was part of the Dianoga race. They're omnivorous cephalopods, which come from a planet in Hutt space, you know, fairly primitive, but they are actually sentient beings, and some of them are force sensitive.
Oh wow.
Like Omi, my homie.
Omi's force sensitive?
Yeah. So,
Oh, fuck yeah.
they possess multiple hearts, 7 sucker tentacles, a single eye stalk in the center of the body, purple skin that changes to match the color of their surroundings, and they're about 10 meters tall, which is friggin' pretty enormous.
Yeah.
So this one, Omi, is a woman. It's a
Omi,
female
my homie.
Oh,
of
it's a
his space.
female.
Omi, my
Okay.
homie.
Omi, my homie.
Got into an altercation with Aduna, which is another dude of her species who wanted to exchange eggs, apparently, and
Oh.
Okay.
she used her force sensitivity to beat off this egg stealer dude.
Well,
She was captured on her homeworld by the native Vodran, who handed Omi to the Imperials on their way to the Death Star.
Oh wow.
Okay.
While en route, she had a force vision of a fiery destruction, and she escaped her containment or whatever, and attempted to flee, but and eventually, got captured on the Death Star. She was very affronted. There's a lot of stuff in here about she didn't like how they called her it. She realized that there was nowhere to go. She retreated back to her containment, got onto the Death Star. She had her vision and was dumped into the garbage chute, introducing her to Garbage Matcher 3263827, where she was just hanging out and eating the garbage that came down in the garbage chute.
Oh, okay. So she.
I feel bad for her. They just fucking dumped her, threw her away.
Yeah. I guess I don't know.
So
I don't
she
even know why they
died.
kept her.
Did she ever leave the Death Star before the
No.
explosion?
So
she just stayed
that's
there
what
till it blew up?
So she was
So
just
Luke
hanging out
killed
there.
her?
No, hold on. No. When Leia, Han Solo, and
the explosion.
They got into the trash compactor. She wanted to enact the beliefs of her people, and she pulled Luke Skywalker underwater to baptize him. She wasn't trying to eat him.
No fucking way. Come on.
She wasn't trying to kill him. It was a belief of her people, and she was baptizing him. And after she felt he was too in submission to him, she let him go.
Stop it, dude.
No way.
I can't make this shit up. When I read that, I'm like, so the Death Star monster is just a misunderstood creature that was just like.
So she's force sensitive, you said, right?
Yeah. Force sensitive.
I feel like her and Luke at that point could have had a connection through the Force or something. I don't know.
Well, when the trash compactor started and Omi went deep below, Omi sensed that Luke would go on to do great things. That's really all they say after that.
Oh, okay. So she did have some connection with him.
I guess she sensed that he was a
Force user
thing, but
wow.
She continued to develop in her submission to it, and then she was able to telepathically lift objects, and then eventually the Death Star went boom, and
G
that
along
was
with
the end
it.
of Omi. Omi the Dianoga.
Poor Omi. Yeah.
She fucking baptized Luke Skywalker.
That changes your whole perception of that scene now.
This whole conversation is gonna change how I look at Star Wars, because I'm gonna fucking show you guys something. It's gonna be like, what?
Right.
What do you mean, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty funny when I heard she was just a misunderstood creature.
Oh my lord!
Nobody knows this. It's just like some weird random puppet that George Lucas put together, and it was just like, yeah, go underwater,
Yeah, it's just
weird
eyeball
to
monster.
the trash compactor scene, and now you hear all these other things that have come to light, and you're like, oh well, maybe you guys are the dicks for coming into Omi's house,
right?
And she was just trying to baptize you,
bring you into her customs.
And you guys blew up our home, like shit, dude.
Oh man, called her it.
I'm a lady. Poor girl. How dare you?
Is there anything else on Omi?
No, that was about it for Omi. Omi didn't have too deep
Omi.
of a backstory. I just thought that was some interesting tidbits there.
Oh, that was great. Okay, let me get introduced to you to the one and only Mistress of Palpatine.
Oh,
Mistress of
The
I
white
did not
Palpatine.
lady?
fucking. Yes. So this person, this female character, is called Sly Moore.
okay.
Sly Moore.
You have seen her in Star Wars Episode 2, The Clone Wars, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have. Oh,
whenever you look at Palpatine when he's at the Senate, he's next to that one
Oh,
fat
she's
alien with the horns
creepy
coming out of
as
his head,
fuck.
and then the creepy bald woman.
She certainly is creepy.
So apparently she's a force-sensitive secret lover, but also one of his top administrators.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, what? I didn't know this. Now, in the old legends, they had a kid. They had a couple of kids or something like that, but they had one kid, Triceratops or something like that, a
Mm-hmm.
three-eyed like mutant.
Oh,
I think they got rid of that. Yeah, and they went with a different story because, Palpatine has a kid, and we find out in Episode 9. But Sly Moore is in the new comics, and it's these new Vader comics. So I really got to read these things, but
dude, they're
this is
so
really
good,
fucking
man.
cool.
There's some shit in there.
So what I learned, all right, so I'm going to try to remember how this all goes down. So she is ordered by Palpatine to say, I want you to, and this is after he's like taken over. He's like, I want you, like the Emperor has taken over. He's like, his empire has now begun. So like kind of like towards like Episode 4 and between 4 and 5, right? Between A New
Okay.
Hope. So years later, he goes, I want you to kill Vader. And she's like, all right, I can do this, So she hires IG-88
Pretty intense.
and it fails. And the Emperor knew that she would fail, and he was hoping that she would fail because it proves that Vader is strong and will not just be killed by, that easily.
Mm-hmm.
But she's disgraced. So she is now demoted. And she's stuck in this demotion for a long time, waiting to get back at, Vader and the Emperor and prove her I am that good. I'm a great advisor for your empire. So she comes up. She starts like looking at the schematics of Darth Vader and learning his suit and stuff like that. So she comes up with this plan. They're like, all right, she's got ties with the Crimson Dawn,
Mhm.
Okay.
Darth Maul's like kind of crew, whatever,
Faction, yeah.
right? Or faction. So she's like the Star Wars Illuminati. She's just like kind of a mysterious woman, got all these weird connections, right? So she's leaning on them to help her out. So they're gonna go and basically try and kill Vader. And she again hires IG-88. It's all fixed up. We're gonna go with my Crimson Dawn crew, and I figured out a way where I can take out his suit, and we'll kill this motherfucker.
Okay.
And then the Palpatine will see that I can complete that job. So as she's coming up with this plan and going over it with everybody, Vader shows up. They just hear, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" And he's like, "It's on." So he starts slowly walking towards them, and everybody starts running. Get the fuck out! Or we're dead. We're so screwed, right? And they're running for the door, and then Vader, like force closes the door, and they're trapped. And they're like, "Fuck!" Well, at that moment, Sly Moore's like, I fucking checked out your suit, bro. I'm gonna fucking take out your suit. So she zaps him. He's all like, he can't move and shit, right? He's like, he's out. And they're like, yes. So everybody starts attacking, right? So they all start shooting at him and all that stuff. But instead of using he is so powerful that he doesn't need the suit.
Right.
He can still use the Force. So he's using the Force while his suit is attacking him. And he's using and it's making him angry and angry. So he's just able to block everyone's shots. So eventually he starts like deflecting it. And then at that point, he just starts slaughtering everybody. Kills all these guys. That
Sounds like
attacking him.
Revenge of the Sith.
And she's just like, what the fuck, right? So he's like, he's able to like take her out while he's being zapped. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna die here. So she goes, all right, hold on a second. I can still have some value to you. And Vader's like, all right, well, you failed again. I should kill you, but I'll let you live if you do something for me. So he sends her on a mission. So she's like, yeah. Here, like I can do like I can get like Han Solo's body, because you know how like Boba Fett and you like kind of caught him, right? And he's all frozen and shit. Well, he's gonna be sold at an auction. So I'll just go to the auction and I'll buy him for you.
And when was this? Is this between
this is between
4 and 5,
5 and 6 at this point. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So a little bit later. Yeah, all this happens like way after like episode 3 and all this stuff, because that's when we see her in 2 and 3. But this is years later. And Vader's like, yeah, okay, yeah, go. So she represents the Empire. She goes to this auction to go and buy Han Solo as he's frozen. Jabba's there. Everyone's bidding. Boom, 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 boom. And she's just like, what the fuck? I can't keep up with this. And Jabba the Hutt just says, 1,000,000 fucking credits. I will have that's how he got him. But he was like, everyone was kind of bidding for him. And Vader was like totally toying with her just to set her up to fail again. Because as she's like, she's with like a couple of people from the Empire. And she's like, all right, fuck, I can't spend any more money. Like, I can't spend $1 million, because somebody else like, you can't spend $1 million on a fucking prisoner smuggler. Like, you can't do that. Like, the Emperor won't stand for this. So she's like, yeah, I can't spend that money. Vader shows up again, and he just slaughters all of her people again. And he just goes after her and just says, this was another lesson now, because now he's trolling her like the Emperor trolled her. He's like, now he's doing it. It's like, I sent you on a mission that I knew you were gonna fail.
She got a raw deal on all ends.
So she just got knocked down. I couldn't find out what happened to her after that. I don't know if she's dead. I think she's alive, but she was allowed to live. But I think she was just like belittled over and over and over again. They took away her power over and over again, just because they're fucking fucked up evil guys. So that's Sly Moore, the former secret lover of Emperor Palpatine.
Wow.
Secret lover, ew. That's not a pretty picture to paint.
Secret lover. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Eric, let's go on to your next.
Yeah. I'll save I know we had some crossover on one of our characters. I'll save that one.
You want to do it? You want to do it?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it
right now.
It's so fun.
All right, this is the good old Willrow Hood, which, as you know,
a few black people in the OG Star Wars.
You may recognize him
this fucking guy.
or know him as the guy from Empire Strikes Back who is holding the ice cream maker. He's the ice cream maker guy.
He's running in the background, randomly running with a...
Dude, he's become like a cult classic just because everybody's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Who is this guy? Why? What? Because this is when on Bespin, when Cloud City is being evacuated, when, you know, the Empire comes to Cloud City and they're looking to occupy. Everyone's going crazy, running around trying to evacuate and escape, and we see this dude running by in his orange jumpsuit with this fucking ice cream maker, and everybody's like, what the fuck is up with this dude? So since everybody was asking that, they created an entire backstory for him because he was such a popular character. So he was actually, I mean, before the canon story that they created, there was a whole Legends story as well. But the Legends,
he was boring. It was just him getting a computer part.
The Legends story is more boring.
More some schematics.
Basically, his so the device he's carrying is called a Camtono, and in the non-canon Legends version, it contained a list of rebel contacts with whom he was supplying discounted gas for their weaponry. So it was basically a core to his computer. So like when all this shit went down with the Empire, like he was working with the rebels. He just
his hard drive.
He took his hard drive, put it in this container, and jetted out of there. The story that they wrote for him is actually much more interesting. So this is from the from a certain point of view book that we were talking about. So that's the collection of the 40 short stories that they released on a bunch of, you know, different background obscure Star Wars characters.
It's like things from the Star Wars universe, but it's told from the background character's point of view.
Exactly. Which is really cool.
Which is interesting.
And there's different authors for each of these stories. So I actually I listened to the audiobook of what's his name? Keep wanting to call him Woodrow. Willrow Hood. It was called what was it called? Because he was on a mission to go to Batuu, to deliver
Yeah.
this Camtono.
But yeah,
But I
that's where
forgot.
Thrawn is from, I believe.
I forgot.
I know. I remember. I studied the story. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like he was just like a low class engineer,
Do on
and he was
Batu.
working on a
Sorry, was the
machine.
name of the story. Yeah.
He was working on a machine, and he says, like, you know what? All these machines make the fucking elites richer, and like I want to be
Yeah,
rich.
he's
So
like he
would
was a
grind days away,
gas miner, like
wanting,
monitoring these machines all day. His
yeah, and
job
he
was
dreamed of
mundane,
being.
boring.
Yeah, he basically wanted to be Han Solo. He wanted to be a smuggler on
Mm.
adventures. He just wanted to do cool shit. So one person that says like, "Yo, I got a gig. This could be a start for your new life if you want to do it. I'll give you 10,000 credits. You gotta take this container and deliver it to this planet and smuggle it in. Can you do that? And if you do, you get 50,000 credits after that." And he's like, "I can do that.
But
But if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna need a pilot."
right.
So he's hanging out with his pilot, and he's like getting drunk on the thing. He's just like, "Oh yeah," and I mean, he gives away his whole fucking thing, his whole mission. So the pilot's like, "I'll just fucking smuggle it then." So he steals it.
It's important to
So
know.
it's a female. It steals.
It's important to note that Willrow had a crush on this pilot, which her name was
Yeah, it was a female
Bexley.
pilot. Yeah.
So which is so they were hanging out in the bar, like you said. This is kind of why he let his tongue slip a little bit, because he's crushing on this girl. He's trying to work together
brag
with
a
her.
bit.
And he's like, the idea of being cramped in a small cockpit with her on this journey to Batu sounds great. So he's like telling her all this stuff. Had a few too many drinks.
Right.
So yeah, like you said,
So
Bexley
good. This fucking
Bexley
guy.
steals
Trying to
the.
impress her.
She's the only other one that knows about this container containing something valuable.
Right. We don't know what's actually inside. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He just knows the value. It's worth a lot of money to get smuggled in. But yeah, but when she takes it, he hunts her down. Hood hunts her down,
Mhm.
and eventually, like they kind of get caught. Like while they're chasing each other, they get caught by the stormtroopers.
Yep.
And the stormtroopers kind of arrest them, put them in their place a little bit, and then they're like, "Fuck, we got to work together." So then they escape somehow together.
Well,
And then while
Willrow
they're
becomes the hero in this situation because he takes
Okay, what did he
advantage.
do?
So the stormtroopers have them cornered, right? But then Darth Vader shows up. And so obviously when Darth Vader shows up, everyone's fucking distracted. So Willrow takes advantage of this. So Darth Vader just shows up, basically looks at what's going on, and then he leaves. But the stormtroopers are still distracted as Darth Vader's walking away. So Willrow springs into action. He fucking knocks one stormtrooper with the Camtano container. He kicks the other one in the chest, steals their rifle.
Okay.
And then, yeah, he basically is the reason they're able to escape the stormtroopers and get out of there.
They break the container though. They break it at some point.
Yeah, so him after that happens,
This is such a long, crazy story.
Well,
For
listen,
a random background, dude.
After they escape the stormtroopers, him and Bexley are like, okay, let's work together again. So they go off, but then the guy who gave them the job, his name is Farron. He's a Rhodian smuggler. He was a friend of Willrow's who gave him the job. But he basically is like, hey, listen, I want the container back. I'll give you 10,000 more credits just to give me the container back. But Willrow's like, there must be a reason why you want this so bad. There must be something really valuable inside of it. So no, I don't want to do that. So that's where they're struggling over the container, and then it falls on the ground and breaks.
Okay.
So it doesn't break, but they pick it up and shake it, and whatever's inside of it is broken because Willrow shook it before, and it was like there was nothing, no noise coming out of it. There was nothing rattling around. But after they dropped it, whatever was inside of it had broken. So then Farron was like, all right, you can have it. I'm out of here. And he books out of there. So after that, basically him and Bexley are like, get the fuck out of here. And another important...
They just do a dump and run.
Well, another important note is that the person they were supposed to deliver it onto on Batu is like apparently really bad news because Farron tells them like, if anything happens to this container during transport, her name was Tropos. She'll kill you and everyone you ever loved if anything happens to this cargo. So Willrow's like, shit's broken. Take us anywhere except Batu. So him and Bexley just kind of got out of there.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so they never deliver it.
They never deliver it. And we never find out what was actually in the container.
Right. It's
So,
like
Huh.
it's like the suitcase or whatever for
Pulp Fiction.
yeah,
Pulp Fiction.
exactly.
You never really know what's in there. But that's cool though. Fucking from a fucking guy running in like a 2-second scene.
The
All that.
actor, I had found this during some of my
Yeah.
research, but the actor ended up nobody could find out who it was because he was
Mhm.
just an extra, basically running through the background. Was actually a guy named Egbert Sen, I
Yep.
believe.
He was an Indian actor. Hmm.
Yeah, and he like before like the whole crazy, ice cream guy like meme took off. He passed away in 2019 at the age of 87. So he
Yep.
never got to
Oh.
never got to
to
live up to
experience
his
that.
cameo, which was kind of
Oh
sad.
man.
Well, apparently his kids didn't even know about this, but they like the reason they found out and confirmed this was him was because they used like some facial recognition technology to figure out it was this guy, and then they like contacted
Shit.
his kids and was like, "Hey, your dad, was your dad in Star Wars?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then they kind of told them like, "Your dad's a fucking legend," like, but they didn't know about any of this Willrow Hood ice cream maker guy shit. So it's kind of a cool,
Oh,
Dude,
man,
cool
my
story
dad
for
was in
the
Star Wars.
real life guy too,
I wouldn't stop talking about it.
right?
I know. Yeah, I'm in the Star Wars. You are? Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes, when shit
Yep,
goes
see,
down,
there we
the
go.
camera's
Nope, then I'm
right on
gone.
me.
Mhm.
Pause it. No, go back. Now pause it. No, right there.
Right?
That's
Even
that's
ice cream maker guy gets a backstory, and he was in the
Yep.
movie for like 1 second, just running past the camera.
Love it. So
Cool.
good.
Well, speaking of people who were on the screen for like 1 or 2 seconds, there is a certain stormtrooper by the identification name of TK421
Okay.
from
TK41. Which one's that?
Luke taps on his helmet. TK421, what's wrong with your
Yeah.
transcoder? So
Oh,
when the
okay.
Millennium Falcon docks
I thought you were
is
gonna say
captured
it's the one that bumped his
And then he
head
goes,
or
"Oh,
something.
it's not work." Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the helmet. Yeah. So TK421 is the designation of a human male stormtrooper who was stationed on the Death Star in 0 years before the battle before Yavin. So right, first episode 6 or 4, sorry. He was just a dude who loved his mouse droid. The mouse droid that runs into Chewbacca and the team as they're taking Chewbacca
Yeah.
up to the thing. That's his mouse droid.
Hmm.
He apparently was big into mouse droid racing
What?
and was hoping to secure a transfer to Coruscant to enter the mouse droid racing circuit. Here's where it gets interesting. Him and his mouse droid would, be hanging out, as one does on the Death Star, dude and his droid. He had accidentally recorded a video of himself, a hologram of whatever, of himself with his helmet off.
Oh.
At some point, I don't know, I forget how it ended up happening, but eventually, he had sent the mouse droid to deliver the hypodermic needle to the interrogation droid to interrogate Princess Leia, and the droid ran into Tarkin, Grand Moff Wilholf Tarkin.
Is this the one that we see throughout the movie then?
TK?
With this mouse droid?
He's in that first episode. He's in,
Episode 4, right?
A New Hope. Like it's the mouse droid on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because essentially, TK doesn't last too long. He's found murdered and crammed into a air duct or something by Han and Luke, who just decided to murder this poor guy.
Oh no.
All he wanted to do was just race mouse droids on Coruscant. But apparently, yeah, he was having his mouse droid deliver it, and it ran into Moff Tarkin, and Tarkin's, I forget what they called him, Alpha 1, that's like his security protocol.
Mm-hmm.
The mouse droid panicked and played the video of TK421 with his helmet off.
Oh
And
no.
Grand Moff Tarkin was
mad.
love struck. He was
What?
not mad.
Oh,
Grand Moff
What?
Tarkin.
he's gay.
Who is he? He's beautiful. Were the exact quote out of Grand Moff Tarkin's
Doesn't
mouth.
sound like Tarkin, but
No, it
Okay.
doesn't whatsoever. The collision injured Tarkin, damaging the thing, having display the holo recording of TK-421. After admiring the stormtrooper's appearance, Tarkin told him to play back the entire message, which he was obliged to do because of security clearance and stuff. The droid needed maintenance, and he said that he was going to personally deal with the trooper responsible for the droid and ordered TK-421 to come to his personal quarters for
What?
repairing his aqualeisure suit.
But he was dead though. Didn't he get killed by?
Not yet. This is
Not
all,
at that
this is all
point.
before.
Hmm.
TK-421 felt flattered that he had caught someone's eye and said that if he played his situation right, he could get transferred to Coruscant and get everything that they wanted. It's fun. It's a weird story that we're getting into here, but when he got to the quarters, Tarkin invited him inside, but required him first to remove his armor to avoid tracking grease or other residue on his new carpet. TK-421 made comments about how it's such a nice place, what a nice carpet you have, what a nice vermeek rug you have, and yada yada yada. Several cycles later, the Death Star remained in Alderaan, and Tarkin was ordering Alderaan's destruction. During this cycle, TK-421, like the droid was having memory lapses when he was in the room or whatever, and he says that he made Tarkin laugh when they were together, and that G7 was better off not witnessing the certain events or keeping them in his memory. So, secret love affair
Wow.
between Tarkin and a stormtrooper. Random ass stormtrooper. So essentially,
this is canon. You're telling
they have
me?
their thing. I'm reading this straight out of Wikipedia. Wookieepedia, sorry.
Wow. Okay.
So TK-421 is just guarding this pirate ship that they got captured, and they go in. Him and his buddy, I forget what it was, TK-710. And they both get murdered by terrorists that landed on their ship.
Those rebel scums.
And they put on the dude's armor. That's why when they are escorting Chewbacca to the detention level,
Yeah.
they run into the mouse droid, and the mouse droid recognizes TK-421's armor, but realizes that it's somebody else that's not in the armor.
Oh.
So that's
okay.
why Chewbacca apparently yelled at the droid and scared it away before it could identify them.
Yeah.
Right.
And alert everybody else.
Wow.
TK-710 doesn't have a real big backstory, but TK-421 goes back pretty, like
A New Hope's not gonna
just a
feel the
dude.
Wow.
Actually,
And they murdered him.
And they did murder him. He was just a dude trying to get onto the racing circuit and get the fuck off the Death Star.
I mean, he's trying to move his way up the ranks with fucking Tarkin over there.
Yeah, secret gay love affair with Moff, which is like the highest admiral in the entire fleet.
Was not expecting that.
No, neither was I. I was kind of it blew me away.
On some like soft, slow jizz music in his quarters.
Soft, slow jizz.
I'm kind of wondering what an aqualeisure unit is. Actually,
you don't want to know.
Let me click on that. Device used for recreational purposes. Grand Moff Tarkin asked TK-421 to repair his aqualeisure tub shortly after the Death Star. Before the Death Star destruction.
Sounds sounds sexy.
It's got to have like a one of those tubs that's got the bubbles in it.
I'm guessing it's like a hot tub. Yeah.
Yeah.
A hot tub, some droid figures.
Aqualeisure. That makes sense. Yeah, some jets in all the right places.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. What What other one you got
I
on
got.
your side?
I'll just do one more quick one. I know we're running long here, but I listened to another audiobook story from a certain point of view. I don't know if you guys remember this one. You probably do, but he's from A New Hope. He's from the right after. I think it's after the Cantina scene. But Long Snoot is his like alias name. That's what the humans
Oh,
call him. But
is it the dude that rats him out?
it's the spy, the guy with the long nose, and he's got the goggles and the hood, and he's like
Okay.
creeping around. When
Yeah.
Luke and Obi-Wan are
Yeah.
coming out of
He's
the
the one
cantina.
that he calls it into the Empire.
Yeah, so he actually has a pretty interesting, somewhat sad backstory as well.
They're all tragic, right?
A little, yeah, a little bit tragic. Mostly because he is. Hold on, let me get this image of him up in the video because he's a funny looking dude. But yeah, he's like I said, he's got the long snoot and the goggles. But basically, nobody ever bothers to learn his name, which is why they call him Long Snoot. Like all of the humans.
It's pretty
Yeah.
rude name to call somebody.
I mean, there's a lot of racist stuff going on in Star Wars. I feel like the humans are pretty racist in general towards the other alien races. Obviously, the Empire, especially the Empire, only employs humans and treats every other race like they enslave Wookiees, all this stuff. But so he is not treated very well. But his full given name is Garindan Zavor, sometimes referred to as Long Snoot, but he is a male Kubaz, and he is from the planet Kubindi, which they're like an insect race. This race is like basically descended from insects, so this is why they have like that long snoot and stuff. And
He's
apparently
like an anteater.
Yeah, sort of like that. But yeah, apparently he is from this high-ranking clan from his home planet of Bindi. So like he is his son. I think his children are like senators on the planet, and his grandchildren are high-ranking too. So like, and
Here he is just on shithole Mos Eisley, just like spying
So-
on people.
So what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Kubindi, obviously, like a lot of other planets in the galaxy, it becomes under Imperial occupation. So the Imperials arrive on Kubindi. They say that they are looking for scholars and diplomats to represent them and whatnot. They're gonna take them from Kubindi and educate them and employ them as like high-ranking diplomats. But this was a complete lie. Basically, he was enslaved and forced to work as a spy for the Empire. So he gets put on this. Obviously, he was forced to. This is all against his will. So he was forced to work as a spy, and he ends up on Tatooine. So he's living in a hovel on Tatooine. He basically living in a place that used to house livestock. So like he is just living in this shithole. He's doing these jobs that he hates to do. He just wants to get back to his home world, his home planet, see his kids, see his wife, all this stuff. So he's taking these missions as a spy to earn enough credits so he can escape Tatooine and get back to his homeworld. So eventually he gets out. He gets out from under the Imperial watch. I forget exactly how he escapes.
The Imperial thumb.
But he's hiding out on Tatooine. So he's taking these little jobs here and there to build up enough credits to get safe passage back to his homeworld. But he one day he has a contact with some information on what's going on back on his home planet. So he's built up this bank of credits, but he basically blows all of those credits just for some information about what's going on back at his homeworld. And he finds out that his wife died while he's been away, and his children, his family's in trouble. Like his kids are not doing well, so he is just desperate to get back to his home world. But it's kind of cool because he's really good as a spy. Like his skill set, like with that long nose, he can like his senses are heightened way above like humans, so he can smell and see everything like and hear everything much more than humans can. Like he can smell blood in the air, he can smell the rust coming off droids, and like he wears those goggles
Right.
because his eyes are so sensitive, and Tatooine is so bright that the sun like hurts his
Right.
eyes, so that's why he's kind of concealing his appearance a little bit more.
So I
So
always assumed like he seems like he's not really from that planet, and he has to wear
no,
like kind of like a suit to kind of cover him from like the
yeah,
intensity of the
exactly.
planet.
And
Like
everybody,
the whole island or that whole canteen just sounds like looks like Misfits. Like
right?
just a
Yeah, it's just
mix.
that's exactly what it is. But yeah, nobody respects him. Everybody treats him like shit. But yeah, he gets this information that his family's kind of in trouble. So he takes the job. He does take a job from the Empire to spy on because they put like a transmission out, and they're looking for these two droids that escaped, R2D2 and C3PO, obviously at the beginning of A New Hope. So he's the one that's tasked with kind of figuring out the whereabouts of these droids, because they know that they landed on Tatooine, but they don't know exactly where, and they're trying to track them down. So he's kind of employed with that task. So he's hoping that that's going to be the job that gets him enough credits to go home. Because he does try to go home at one point, but there's an Imperial blockade around his planet, so he needs to get his hands on some codes to bypass the Imperial blockade, so he can actually get back to his planet. So, yeah, the story kind of leaves off. He doesn't really end up. We don't know if he ever gets home,
Oh,
which is kind of sad, obviously. But he's basically still just taking bounties and doing everything he can to scrape together enough credits to get back home. So it was kind of a depressing one. Felt bad for the guy.
poor man. That is a tough one. I don't feel bad for always hating on him. I just thought he was just some scumbag that was rotting out.
Exactly.
Like Luke and
It makes you look at it from a different point of
All
view,
these
from a
A
certain
New
point of
Hope
view.
characters, man.
yeah, I do think I do have to get this certain point of view book because it does have some crazy stuff in it.
Yeah, I bought the
Brandon?
I got the audiobook. There's one for there's just the from a certain point of view, which is a collection from like all over. There's a specific one for like Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view, which is the one where Willrow Hood's story was in. So there's a couple different ones. So I just listened to those two, but I want to keep listening to some more because they're really well done.
Nice.
All right, let's speed things along. Real quick, I didn't know, doing some research, that Max Reebo from the blue guys playing the music in Jabba's Hood, right? Yeah, he had a twin brother. I didn't know that he had a twin brother, and I guess his twin brother is like kind of a troublemaker. So Max Rebo is always like kind of getting mixed up with that. He's like, bro, it's my brother, it's not me. And the Empire be like, well, this fucking guy like did something. Like, it wasn't me. So, and then I guess that happened sometime maybe with Jabba the Hutt, and Jabba the Hutt was like, all right, god damn it, Max, you play like your instruments, and your brother, you're a waiter. So like, I didn't know he had like
Were
a
they both
troublesome
there
brother.
in Jabba's palace?
I guess so. Yeah, at least on the airship and that one scene they were together. And then I learned about Oola as well. So Oola is the green Twi'lek that dies by being eaten by the Rancor at Jabba's palace, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a quick tragic story. So she was the daughter of a chieftain from her village. And Bib Fortuna said, "Hey, hold on a second. I'll tell you what. Why don't you come with me and you'll have a great time. Leave this little village here, and you'll see like the best of the whatever that the galaxy can show you." So she's like, "Sure, let's do it." Tricked you. Nope, you're a slave. So she has her he has her
like
trained.
Bib.
Has her trained to learn all these because she's a good dancer. She's like a really good dancer and wins all these competitions in her village. So have her trained to dance exotic for Jabba the Hutt. So she's just a prize. So she just thinks that she's gonna be like seeing the world and like a young girl, like, oh my god, this is my chance to go to Hollywood, right? But instead, she's trained to be a slave for Jabba for his entertainment, and he's always making advances to her. Well, in the movie, we see a scene where she's dancing with this large, six-breasted woman who's also like kidnapped from her village, but like they're like dancing and stuff like that. And then Jabba the Hutt, during the performance, I think Max Rebo is playing as well. He yanks her to come over, and she recoils. It's like, I don't want to do this. And Jabba the Hutt was like, "You do not embarrass me in front of people." So he fed her to his Rancor down there.
Or
Which the Rancor and the Rancor trainer all have backstories. It just
Oh,
never
yeah, of
ends.
course.
But it was just like, yeah, another tragic story. It's sad, but at least the six-breasted alien woman thing, she at least escapes and gets back to her family at least. But
Wow,
But
that's
yeah.
nice.
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
All right, I'll do two quick ones and I'll be done. I was gonna touch on Lobot. Lobot's
yeah, of
for another
course.
day. Lobot's there's a lot going on
Lobot,
with Lobot.
fucking
I bet.
dorkiest character in Star Wars, man.
Speaking of Jabba's palace, do you remember in Return of the Jedi when Luke's coming in? There's that like spider thing that walks in the background, like as the doors are coming down and Luke's walking in and the Gamorrean guards are coming up to him.
Yeah,
There's a
sort of.
spider thing that walks in the background. Those things are called. They're from the Bomar order. Those are Bomar monks. They're a religious order that believe in isolating themselves from all physical sensations to enhance the power of the mind.
Yeah, wow.
So these monks have their brains removed and put into nutrient-filled jars, which are the jar on the underside of the spider that you can see just walking in the background. There's not a ton to them. Older monks have four-legged walkers. Younger monks use six. Apparently, that Jabba's palace was a Bomar monk monastery before Jabba just fucking moved in and just kind of
really?
like took over the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, when he consumed the control of their monastery, he turned it into his personal palace. He kept the monks there because he enjoyed the gruesome sight of them, apparently. So he just liked how fucked up they were. It was just like, yeah, I fucking hang around here. So, I mean, there's a story about how Jabba's cousin tried to steal a brain for something, and fucking Salacious B gets in there and makes him drop the brain, and then hilarity ensues.
Right.
Jabba ends up letting the monks like murder his cousin and take his brain just for breaking one of their brains. But they're there when Luke's there. They're there after Jabba's death, and they're still there when Bib Fortuna gets murdered by Boba Fett. So
they should have been in the Book of Boba Fett.
They probably were still there.
Just didn't see him, but that's cool if they were.
Yeah, it was just a weird kind of backstory on
that's
like
a good one.
Random. Everybody loves a good random droid story.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And since we're getting sad, this is the last one. This is a really short one, but
that's super sad.
Yoda's blanket. Do you guys know about Yoda's blanket?
Doesn't he?
No.
He wears it when he dies.
Yeah,
He becomes a Force ghost.
It's his little snuggle. It's his little snuggle blankie when he's in his little hut.
Yeah.
No more questions. Time to sleep.
That hut or that blanket is actually the cloak of Master Qui-Gon Jinn.
Is it really?
He takes with him and is a possession of Master Yoda, and that's like his only like link back to like humanity.
Was he that close with Qui-Gon?
Prior life. I mean, he talks to him as a Force ghost. Like he says to Obi-Wan, like, we've been talking to Qui-Gon, like, he's found a way to cheat death or whatever. So,
wait,
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon cheated death?
Well, he's the first one that kind of figured out how to be a Force ghost, essentially.
Oh, got it.
Right.
Okay.
And they started passing that down. But yeah, Yoda's little blankie is Qui-Gon Jinn's cloak from, when he got murdered at the Battle of Naboo. So it's just a little sad tidbit that I found in there. I'm like, oh, that's like, Jedi aren't supposed to have attachment, and Jedi aren't supposed to they're supposed to stay away and be reserved. But even
Yoda's
Master Yoda,
I am old. Let me have one thing.
it still smells of his
good.
musk.
I know, right?
So no, I just want to throw that one in there too. I found that at the bottom of the Star Wars iceberg, and I was just like, that's a sad little thing that nobody even Yoda's blanket has a backstory, like
and it's
everything.
Sad.
Like, what about Yoda's teapot? What about his fucking fire stick or walking stick?
Don't get me started on his teapot. No.
Is that a thing?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Everything's got to have a backstory. I wish you did, Lobot. I want to know more about that freak.
Yeah, he became
God damn it, I googled it.
No, he was like a personal chef for Lando, right?
He was a personal chef for Lobot. Yeah, Lobot was.
Oh.
That thing that he had was like to have him make battlefields. It was just a Rolodex of chicken curry recipes and shit like that.
Dave, you need to go do a Halloween as Lobot.
I could.
For sure.
One of these days.
For sure.
See, I just put these backwards. I just wear it like this.
Exactly. Perfect.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So good.
Lobot. It's so funny.
I googled Yoda's stick.
Episode 6.
I googled Yoda's stick, and there is a backstory to Yoda's stick.
Oh, it's probably carved out of some tree on some planet that's like holy to the Jedi or something. Probably something like that.
Stick is made from the Geimer bush, which grew on Kashyyyk and was a gift to him from the Wookiees.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There's a
backstory
lot more,
on everything.
There's a lot more there too. We won't get too far.
There's a lot in this episode.
Yeah,
that was a lot. That was good. That was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna be able to see Star Wars.
It changed it.
There's a backstory for everybody.
What's sadder? So much tragedy in the back. All right. Well. That's
Brandon's
the end
depressed
of that conversation.
About Star Wars.
I'm trying to think of how to make this positive, but grab your lightsaber, guys, because we're gonna go into Act 3. We're just gonna play a quick round of Star Wars 20 questions.
Sweet.
Welcome back to Act 3. Star Wars 20 questions. These are always fun. We all know how this works. These guys can ask a bunch of questions, but all I can say is yes or no. You only get one shot, though, so when you make your guess, make sure it's right. It's Star Wars, so literally anything Star Wars.
Anything.
That is your topic. Ask your questions, gentlemen.
Okay, so we have to do... Is it normal 20 questions? Can we do person, place, or thing for the first question?
Question 1. The answer is yes.
Well, no.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna ask: is it a person? Is it a character from Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Not Yoda's stick or Yoda's blanket.
Oh, that makes me sad every time I think of it now. Poor guy.
Does this character make an appearance in the original trilogy?
No.
Oh.
Do they appear in the prequel trilogies?
No.
Oh.
All right. They're sequel or animated or not in the movies at all.
Well, actually, we should probably narrow that down.
Does this character appear in a Star Wars movie?
Yes.
Okay. So it could be yeah, so it's either the sequel trilogy, or the spin, like Solo or
the stories.
Rogue One. Yeah. All right.
Is this character human?
Question.
Yes.
Okay.
This character part of the Resistance?
No.
Okay.
think we gotta narrow these movies down. Is this character in the, what do we call the new ones? The sequel trilogy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this character a bad guy, or I guess opposing the protagonists?
Well, no. Well, you said it's not in the Resistance,
I mean,
so I
yeah,
would assume.
yeah, but
Well,
I don't want to say First Order. Yeah, are they opposing the protagonists?
Yes.
Okay, because it could be. Remember Benito del Toro's character?
yeah,
He's
that's
not
true.
in the First Order, but he is working for them.
See, it's not a Resistance. I was thinking it was going to be the Lord of the Rings tie-in, which there is a connection between Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Apparently, I think it might have been a Lego game or something. Somebody mentions to the character that plays, who does he play, Merry or Pippin? In the he's in the Resistance crew in the background or whatever. He mentions second breakfast in Star Wars.
Oh, really?
So there is a tie-in between the two series. Interesting.
All right, so
1, 2, 3, 4.
opposing the okay.
That was 8 questions we got so far. I mean, First Order is kind of the main group.
Could be
Is it Kylo Ren?
General Hux, Captain Phasma.
Yeah. Is this person part of the First Order?
Yes.
Okay.
Captain Phasma.
I mean, what other ones do we got? Like,
yeah, I get Phasma's Snoke. I feel like Snoke and Kylo Ren would be too obvious.
Snoke. They still did him dirty.
Hux.
I mean, it's a human. We know that. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be Snokey Snoke. Snoke's not human, right?
Is Snoke human? He might just be a deformed,
like some sort of deformed
human
clone.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody, all the aliens and everybody has 2 legs.
Is
2
this
arms.
character a Force wielder?
No.
Okay.
Nothing I know of. Was that 10?
Yeah. It's Phasma. It's got to be Phasma. Phasmophobia.
Does it? Well, we could do. Does this character wear stormtrooper armor?
Does this character wear stormtrooper armor?
Yeah, like like the stormtrooper stuff. Whether it's white or silver, I don't really care. It's all
right.
stormtrooper.
Are you
armor.
asking? Are they a stormtrooper?
No, I'm asking, do they wear the stormtrooper?
Do they
armor?
wear armor? Just generalize it like that.
Yeah.
Phasma. It's gotta be.
I just had to make sure I understood what you were asking because I didn't want to
Don't want to. On a technicality.
The answer is yes.
I mean, yeah, Phasma is probably the only one that we. Who else would wear stormtrooper armor? Finn, but he's not against the Resistance.
Does this person get smashed in the face by Finn and then fall into a pit of fire, but then somehow survive?
Took me a second there. Somehow survive. No.
Oh, it's not Phasma. Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna have to think, motherfuckers.
Well, this is the deep dive on Star Wars.
I was gonna say it didn't seem like it'd be that easy, but we're on the right track. Wears armor is part of the First Order.
Yep.
It's in the last 3 movies.
Oh, the Knights of Ren, maybe? They're not in the First Order, though. They're not in the First Order.
Technically, they are, I think.
I think the Knights of Ren is like outside of that
side group.
Yeah. But maybe they do. Maybe they do work for them later. I don't really know.
I mean,
Those are the only
You know,
other
what-
people that I
Who do
could.
they work for? If Snoke, yeah, who do they work for?
Right.
If
I mean,
Snoke's
Benicio
dead,
del Toro
and
puts
Kylo-
on officer's uniform for the First Order. That's not technically
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that
stormtrooper
armor.
armor. No.
Hmm.
And it's a human, so it's not like
It is
the
a
evil
human.
BB-8 droid or some bullshit like that, which is so dumb. But that's a whole nother story. Shit, that's tough. Phasma.
Yeah. The
Should we narrow down the movie? Which one
yeah.
of the sequels it is?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, might help.
Which one you want? Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Or Last Jedi because it's Brandon's favorite. and
That's
he'll
what I
probably
was
pick
thinking
somebody from
too,
that
but
shitty movie.
I'm
I
trying
do
to
like
think.
that movie.
Trying to rack my brain for who.
It's a dirty human, man. Brandon dug deep for this one. I'm thinking.
I think you need to pick the movie to get you to kind of think about
Yeah.
find this
Is it,
character. I think you need to know the movie.
9, 10, 11. This is question number 13 too, so we got to start.
Yeah.
Getting close. Is this character in The Last Jedi?
No.
I would assume it's The Force Awakens because I don't know if you'd pick one that's only in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. I haven't seen
But maybe
in a while. I've been disgusted with that one. Couldn't bring myself to watch it again. Actually,
I feel like we.
All right,
Is it?
so-
Are they in? Are they in The Force Awakens?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I know that movie relatively well, so I'm trying to think.
Yes, a person who works for the New Order who wears stormtrooper armor.
That's not Captain
A Force
Phasma.
Awakens. That's not Captain Phasma. Yes.
I mean, technically,
Finn.
in the First Order, that's what I was gonna say. Finn is technically a human wearing stormtrooper armor,
Right.
Yeah.
and he is in the beginning of the movie opposing
Right.
the rebellion.
Right.
Unwillingly.
Well, or not. Who knows? He made it through
knows?
basic training and did I'm sure it's not his first.
There's a case. There's a case. Yeah. There's a case
Huh.
for it.
None of. I mean, they sneak down to Starkiller Base.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is that fucking dude that Finn fights when they attack Maz Kanata's castle. The dude with the fucking electric baton thing, whipping it around.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Whatever
have
that
a name.
fucking-
Like no one would
I
ever
think
know
he
his
does
name.
have a name, but I don't know his
I'm
name.
sure he does. I'm pretty sure I don't know it. No, I'm sure I don't know it.
That one stormtrooper. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, you want to knock Finn out of this?
No, because he said he's not in The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's true. Good call. Good catch. Is there
Not
anybody?
in the last. Only in the. I mean, I guess not only in the Force Awakens, but I'm assuming only in. Or they. Could be a male. Could be a female. How many questions we got left?
We're on 14, so this will be question.
You guys
15.
got questions you can be asking. You got some.
I'm sure from
Chase.
your side, from a certain point of view, yeah, we do.
I'm trying to think of any other standout characters.
I'm just trying to think of anybody else
Stormtrooper.
in Stormtrooper armor that's just
Right.
not like Stormtrooper 4.
Right,
It's just kind of
Stormtrooper,
marching
random
the-
stormtrooper or Captain Phasma.
Well, if it's not Captain Phasma, who else? We could ask if they have a name. I mean, if it's not just like like TK421, like his brother TK422.
His brother. Grand Moff Tarkin's secret lover. Snoke's secret lover.
Ew. Let's see. Like Poe doesn't do anything. Poe doesn't fight any stormtroopers or anything in that one. Maz Kanata's castle.
The only other standout stormtrooper I can think of is dude whipping around the electric baton thing.
That thing called.
I don't know.
Like, if you ever randomly encounter a lightsaber, you might want to have one of these. And this is the day.
Right?
I've got it.
Holy shit! I can't believe all this training.
He was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
You
Yeah,
guys want to tap out?
no.
Got 6 questions in the.
I mean,
You're on question 14, right? Or on 15 or something?
Does this character...
I mean, Finn is the only other one I can think of.
Does this character fight any of the protagonists in the movie?
Yeah.
I feel like it's the electric baton guy. Well, I don't know who else it would be. Maybe we're missing someone.
Ask if it's electric baton guy. Like that's probably the only thing I could think of. I mean, Wookieepedia is closed on my monitor, so I'm not cheating.
Right.
Yeah. Is that your guess?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, how many questions are left? Let's just
like 5.
Let's just
4, I guess.
Let's just eliminate it. Does this guy wield a cool weapon? Cool electric baton weapon?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Is it no? Is it? Eric was still clarifying there. Is it a cool
electric baton weapon?
Baton.
Oh, is it a cool baton weapon?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
A cool electric baton weapon. Yes.
Baton weapon. Yeah.
It is the guy. I knew it.
Do you want to take a shot at his name? Come on, think about it. God damn it.
What do they say his name in the movie?
He yells traitor at Finn.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like, I forget what Finn's
response
call
to that
sign is.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, Chrome Dome.
Yeah, because Finn's is FN21 whatever.
Something.
It was.
I wonder if it's his buddy from the beginning of the
close.
movie.
I'm going to give you guys the win because I didn't expect you to get the actual name. I was hoping you can get the name. But just like a lot of other Star Wars characters, this one has a nickname.
Oh.
Is it a cool baton guy?
Bruiser. I don't know.
No.
Batani.
No. So his name is FN2199.
Okay.
They call him Nines amongst the guys.
Nice.
Everybody knows him as TR8R.
What?
Traitor.
Because he yells traitor. So people call him TR-8R.
Huh.
Wow.
But
I
you
did
got
not think we were going to get
But
that.
I didn't know if you were going to get the...
Nines.
That's the fun one where like just a random character says one fucking thing and people ran with it, but it's like Baby Yoda. People just nickname him, you know?
I was going to say, the only, like, besides Phasma, he was the only other memorable stormtrooper from that movie. So I'm like,
yep.
It's
Killed by
him.
Han Solo. He almost killed Finn, but then Han Solo shot him in the back.
Yep.
With a Wookiee bowcaster?
TR8R.
I don't know if that...
It might have been a different guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good one.
So there you go. Cool. Congratulations, guys.
Deep cut.
That was a good one.
I mean, it had to be somebody a little deep.
Yep. I like it.
So there you go. All right. Well, thanks. Bring us home, Eric, with some socials, and we'll leave this universe.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy, Twitter and Instagram at the Nomads of Fantasy, on TikTok. You can join our Discord at the nomadsofantasy.com/Discord. If you want to chat with us in there, you can go to the nomadsoffantasy.com to listen to the show, all the relevant stuff there. We got merch up there if you want to order some merch, cool Nomad hat or mug or shirt. We stream on Fridays at twitch.tv/nomads of fantasy, usually playing some games, chilling out. So join us there on Fridays. Am I missing anything? youtube.com/@nomads of fantasy for the video versions of the podcast.
What map?
Yeah.
Whatmapgame.com.
We have Star Wars episodes. There's some good episodes on Star Wars in general. Our second episode ever was just Star Wars episode.
And
we just talked about it.
If you go to the website, nomadsoffantasy.com, I actually have a category set up for Star Wars. So all of our Star Wars episodes are organized in there if you just want Star Wars content. So
don't forget, we're doing Rogue One not too long from now, so that'll be coming.
That'll be fun. I'm excited to rewatch it again, and hopefully you guys will gain the same appreciation for it on rewatch that I did. But yeah, this has been a long one, but it was a fun one as well. Something a little different, and I'm always down for talking Star Wars. So we'll hit the hyperdrive and get out of here. And as always, safe travels. Nomads.
Yep.
Nub nub.
Nub nub.
Yub nub. Yub nub. Yub nub. Yub
I
nub.
thought you were gonna. Ootini.
You bring it up.
There you go.